Anime God here, back with another video, and today we're doing what if the leaf abandoned Naruto, or what if Naruto abandoned the Leaf Village, but whatever way you want to say it. But yeah, I kind of just want to do this video because I thought of a really great idea while reading a fanfic, and so yeah, I really wanted to get it on paper before the idea left my head. So with that being said, we're gonna get right into the story. Alright guys, before we get in, a very small percentage of you guys are not subscribed. 16.8% are the only subscribed, compared to the 83.2% that are not subscribed. So please consider hitting that like button and subscribing, so that way, my empire can grow. Now, let's get started. Alright guys, so basically what we're going to start off with this what if is everything is the same up until Kushina and Minato's deaths, with Naruto being sealed in the Nine-Tailed Fox. Although in this case, the village hate is way bigger than the original canon. Let's say if the original canon was 1, this thing is cranked up to 11. Quite literally. Naruto is hated more than anyone in the village. By the time he's 3, he's kicked out of the orphanage and stayed in the dumps eating food from dumpsters for about a year, until Sarutobi's Anbu found him and brought him to the third Hokage himself. Naruto would still be beaten up and bruised a lot, and so, like in canon, he would give him his own apartment and a weekly allowance, that way he could, pay for the apartment and get food. In this case, Naruto would still be hated so much more than canon, like I said multiple times, up until about the age of 7. Naruto would have just got out of the hospital from a huge beating that he got from several villagers, as this day was kind of special, as it was his birthday. He would end up going home, only to find a pair of goggles at his doorstep. Naruto would kind of wonder who left this there, and kind of be happy that someone actually cared for him. The third Hokage would then go to Naruto and congratulate him on his birthday, and just give him some birthday cake or something, and then have to go back to the office, as being Hokage was a busy job. Naruto would then go to sleep that night, hoping that tonight wouldn't be like any others, because he just wanted to get some real sleep instead of villagers breaking into his home and beating the crap out of him that happens every other night. Naruto, this night on his birthday, a lot of drunk villagers from the festival would end up breaking into Naruto's home and beating him bloody. The counselors would kind of have enough of this and decide that Naruto is too much of a threat, and that eventually he'll break out, the Nine-Tailed Fox will break out, and will destroy the village and finish its job. Hiruzen and Danzo are the only ones opposing this, but against the entire council, shinobi and regular council alike, along with Shimura and Hamura, the two guides to Hiruzen, Naruto would be kicked out, only having 2 days to get out of the village before he was considered a dangerous threat of a Jonin. Naruto wouldn't really understand this, but he would have to leave the village. He would be heading towards water country at the age of 7. Walking alone. We have a 1 week time skip from here. We see Hiruzen sitting on his desk, depressed. He then looks at a picture of Minato on the wall, as he was the 4th Hokage, and says to him, "I'm sorry, Minato. I could not fulfill my promise." Jiraiya would burst through the door, yelling at him, asking where his godson was, saying that he was going to find him. Although it was too late. Naruto had already arrived to water country at this point, as it would have been about a week. Naruto would be walking through the town, and he would see a little boy fighting a dog for food. He would then help the boy fight the dog, and realize the boy's name was Haku Yuki. They would form a very pretty big bond, and kind of end up like Yahiko and Conan before they met Nagato, just kind of like stealing food and stuff like that. Until about 2 months later, Zabuza would end up finding them, saying that he would help them as long as they served him. Naruto and Haku would basically just agree to this, and they would continue like canon, or the story would in Konoha. We're gonna have a time skip of 2 years, or 1 year, as this is when the Uchiha massacres happened. Itachi would flee, and it basically just happened exactly as normal, with the Itachi killing the Uchiha and leaving Sasuke alive. Over this year, Naruto and Haku have gotten even stronger than Haku would have been in canon, as they would have sparring partners in themselves, and Zabuza would kind of start to feel a weird sensation in his chest. He doesn't really know what it was because he's never felt it before. Could it be pride? Could he actually be proud of his tools? He continued to think this over, kind of ignoring it. We would then have a 3-year time skip when Naruto and Haku would be 11, as well as all the Konoha 9 would be 11, and by the way, Sai is replacing Naruto in this timeline. Because let's just say Sai didn't get captured by Danzo, I guess. Naruto and Haku would be seen as very, very powerful people. Naruto, over these last 4 years with Haku and Zabuza, would be training his chakra control to the very max, only being that of average chakra control, but with his still way, way larger than average chakra reserves, even bigger than his canon counterpart, as he's actually training a lot harder in this case. He'd also be actually pretty tall, because Zabuza wouldn't let them go malnutrition, so Naruto's about 5'3", which is pretty good for someone at the age of 11. Back in Konoha, everyone's performing basically the same, with Sasuke still being brooding, and everything else like that happening still. Jiraiya would have still been on the move for Naruto, but have no luck. We're gonna have 1 more year of time skip, and over this last 2 years, Naruto has been actually working on chakra and like elemental manipulation, and turns out his is wind, while Haku's is wind and water. And they'd be learning all sorts of jutsus, bringing them up to the level of pretty low Jonin, but Jonin nonetheless. And they have been working for Gato for about a month now. Team 7 would be formed in this case as Sai, Sakura, and Sasuke, as well as all the other teams being the same. And in this case, Hinata ended up liking Kiba instead of Naruto, since Kiba is the next best thing, I guess, if you want to say that. So yeah, all the teams would be the same, and for Konoha, their teams would pass, with Sasuke, Sai, and Sakura passing as Team 7 under Kakashi. Team 8 consisting of Hinata, Shino, and Kiba under Kurenai, and Shikacho under Asuma, all passing. A month and a half later, we would see Sasuke kind of just like telling Kakashi he wants a scenic mission, and Kakashi would agree. They would end up having to do this for a bridge builder named Tazuna, and they would continue walking, and basically they would just enter the mission, leaving Konoha behind for a few weeks. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sai would kind of like just be thinking to themselves how amazing it is, except for Sakura just like yelling it out loudly about how nice it is to be out of the village for once. They'd then end up running into the Demon Brothers, and Sasuke would hold him off until Kakashi would end up finishing off, similar to how he did in canon. And this time around, they would continue walking for a while until a giant cleaver would fly over their head, and Zabuza would say, "Get down!" Kakashi would say, "Get down," and then their whole team would get down. And as you all know, Kakashi and Zabuza would appear with Naruto at his side this time, except for Naruto is actually just unmasked fully, and in this case Naruto is about 5'6", which is pretty good for someone at the age of 12, and he definitely looks built and just looks really, really strong. Kakashi looks at them, looks at Zabuza, and decides to fight him one-on-one, while he lets Team 7 take care of this kid with blonde hair, who he recognizes to be Naruto. He would continue to fight Zabuza until he gets caught in a water prison, while Naruto was kind of just beating up and like completely destroying them, until somehow Kakashi would get get free, defeating Zabuza, and then Naruto would have to like take him and get out of the way, as he doesn't really think he can fight Sharingan Kakashi if he's enough to take out Zabuza, who he couldn't even match yet, without relying on the Kyuubi's chakra, which he knows he has the Kyuubi and can kind of control it to an extent up to 2 tails. So yeah, they would end up fleeing without them noticing of Haku, and then Kakashi would collapse like in canon, and kind of just collapse, and then they'd end up being taken to Tasuna's house, while Naruto, Haku, and Zabuza would recuperate, with Naruto and Haku training during this 1 month, or during this 1 week, along with Sasuke, Sakura, and Sai all training as well, basically having the same training as in canon. Now during this, the bridge mission would end up happening, and like they would end up fighting on the bridge. Sasuke would end up fighting Haku, while Sakura and Sai would be left to deal with Naruto. Kakashi would actually end up killing Zabuza in this case, although not immediately. Naruto would kick back Sai and Sakura, knocking them both out, while he would go and help finish off Sasuke, knocking him out as well. He would then go to his master's side along with Haku, and they would both be like crying, tears of sadness, while Zabuza would say these last final words to them. Haku, you've grown much since I first found you. I know I didn't show it, but I thought of both of you as my sons. I'm proud of you both. Goodbye. I wish when you guys died, I'd be able to see you in heaven. I'm not going to that place. Naruto, keep Haku safe. Stay alive. Survive. Rescue Kiri. Zabuza would fade into the afterlife, knowing that his 2 sons were safe. Said this was what if the Leaf abandoned Naruto, or Naruto abandoned the Leaf. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I really liked writing this and talking about it. And yeah, with that being said, guys, I'm going to get up on out of here. If you liked the video, give me a like. That's how I know you guys liked it, or just comment that you liked it. And subscribe, I guess. And let's get to